Welcome to this edition of the Mr. Jurgensen Show. This little episode, or this test review, is for my world history class. We have a test on Friday, and it is our Unit 2 tests, which is going to be over chapters 4, 5, and 6. The essay question is: define a civilization and discuss how the empires of Mesopotamia established themselves, kept power, advanced in technology, and how they eventually lost control of their empire. I would like to break down the essay question with you right now. First part of the essay question is to define a civilization. Now, if you remember, this is a short answer question that was in your notes. Remember, complete all of your short answer questions. They're on the back of your notes. We discussed this a little bit in class today. We discussed the elements that are required to have. I need to fix my camera. We talked about the elements required to actually have a civilization. Remember, we compared it to Arlington, Nebraska. Now, in order to have a civilization, you have to have a culture. Okay, you have to have a language, alphabet, a religion, government with laws. You have to have education. All of those elements make up a civilization. Farming, agriculture, all of that. Okay, so we discussed what a civilization is. What I want you to do in the essay is define a civilization in your own words and give specific examples. The second part is the second part of the essay question. I would like you to discuss the several different empires that we discussed in class. How did they establish themselves is the first requirement. Discuss how the Akkadian Empire united all of the city-states of Mesopotamia. Let's see, who else? Assyrians used their military strength to conquer all of the city-states of Mesopotamia and also the regions of Egypt. The Hittites used their military strength as well to expand their power. And also the Babylonians, Neo-Babylonians, also used military strength to unify the city-states. And that is kind of the commonality with all these empires, is that they start out in one major city-state and they kind of branch out and they conquer all those city-states and they put them under the control of one power, which makes it an empire. Okay, and remember we compared an empire to Star Wars. Remember the empire started out, or that government in the movie started out with government in one planet. And then it kind of spread and it acquired all these other planets and it brought it under the power of that one planet. Okay, so you have an empire that controls a vast territory and several different kinds of people. The next part of the essay question is how did they keep power? Most of these were military strength. Hammurabi's Code would also be a great example of how they kept power, establishing strict rules to maintain the people and to prevent chaos from occurring within their civilization or their city-state or empire. Advancements in technology, we discussed just a ton of advancements, including the chariot, different kinds of weapons, siege warfare. The Assyrian siege warfare methods would also be included in technology. The sundial, the arch, the plow, all of those could be great examples, but be specific, explain what they are, pretend like you're teaching me. Okay, pretend like I know nothing about this and write your essay to basically teach me about these empires of ancient Mesopotamia. Lastly, how did each empire, or just give me a few examples of how empires lost control. So let's say the Hittites, they kind of fell, they collapsed from within. They lost control of a vast empire and they just kind of collapsed. The Assyrians, Remember, they lost their power from a coalition of city-state forces, including the Babylonians and the Medes forces, and they were conquered mainly because they couldn't keep control of a vast area. So keep that in mind when you write your essay. You don't want to talk about each empire for each requirement of the essay. You want to select maybe one or two and focus on those two, and go from one requirement to the next. Use those specific examples. Try to mention each empire a little bit, but focus on maybe two or three empires, and use those examples for your essay. Be specific as possible. Use names, use dates. Make sure that you explain how they establish themselves, how they maintain control, and just the entire question. Okay, this is going to be a true test of how you can answer the entire question. Remember, take your time writing this essay. Make sure that you practice this essay at least the night or the day before your test on Friday, which is tomorrow, Thursday. So make sure that you practice writing this essay. Remember, a paragraph is not going to cut it. You have to be specific and detailed. You are all historians, and that's what a historian does. You have to be specific and detailed in your arguments. That's all I've got for you tonight. I am going to let you go now. Oops, I shook the camera. I'm sorry. Anyways, I really hope the best for you in your studying, and I hope that you study hard. And remember that you can get on my website, Mr. Jurgensen's webpage. You can listen to all the notes and discussions. That the discussions are synced with the PowerPoint, so you can basically re-attend class and go through what we talked about. You can also just go to slides of specific information maybe you don't understand, and listen to our discussion and listen to me talk again about that, and kind of review that way. Also, there is a Moodle discussion up on early world history, and it's basically a test review. So you can get on that, and you can and I want you to share how you're studying, how the approach you're taking to your essay question, and kind of share that with your classmates, and also kind of talk back and forth and help each other study for this test. Let's see, you can also listen to this YouTube, which you have already done, so I won't mention that, but I already did. Anyways, it's my turn to cook tonight, and I think I'm going to go to Don and Millie's and get us some hamburgers. So I hope you guys had a better meal than I did, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Good luck studying, and this is Mr. Jurgensen signing off.